In more news, Vincentian Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez says he has received no indication that the state-owned oil and natural gas company, PDVSA, in Venezuela has suspended fuel shipments to St. Vincent and the Grenadines under the Petro Caribe agreement. Gonzalez, however, said the country is being affected by the sanctions that the United States has imposed on the Nicolas Maduro administration in Caracas. The Vincentian leader said that he contacted the Venezuelan charge d'affaires in Kingstown, who said he had received no such information. This is an era of fake news and all sorts of things, Gonzalez said. A report circulated via social media claimed that PDVSA was suspending oil shipments under Petro Caribe to 8 countries, namely Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Dominica, El Salvador, Haiti, Nicaragua, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Kitts Nevis. The Gaston Brown government in Antigua and Barbuda also dismissed the report as fake news. While Grenada was not named in the report, this island's foreign minister, Peter David, doubted the overall report.
Hopeful. There are many people who, dream of the demise of the Venezuelan government. We are hopeful, I would say, that things will stabilize in Venezuela.
He said there are many people who are opposed to the arrangement that would like to see its end.
We are hopeful that that arrangement can continue. It's in our interest, and those who are advocating its demise are not really thinking about the long-term interest of Grenada, rather narrow, short-term political interest.
But David said Petro Caribe has served the Eastern Caribbean well.
Remember the 2008, 2009, 2010, one of the most difficult periods in our economic history in the Caribbean, and it was Venezuela, led at the time by President Chavez, who came to our assistance to provide cheap energy supplies through the Petro Caribe arrangement.
He acknowledged that Venezuela, a friendly neighbor, has had its challenges.
We continue as a country and as a region to say that it is in our interest to ensure that there is stability in Venezuela. I remind people of what happened in Libya, where there was a removal of the intervention in Libya, the removal of a government in Libya, and today Libya is a breeding ground for crime and terrorism. We want stability in Venezuela. We want the parties to come to the table.
The Caribbean Development Bank and World Bank have announced they will partner to fund projects in Grenada and throughout the region to, in their memorandum, increase disaster resilience through procurement. Here's Rachel Bain.
With natural hazards increasing in frequency and intensity, Cheryl Dixon, Coordinator of Environmental Sustainability of the Caribbean Development Bank, stressed the importance of a greater understanding of why procurement under these conditions is unique, adding that too often, public procurement frameworks and systems do not give sufficient attention to procurement in the context of disasters. Systems that fail to respond effectively during and after disasters can have a long-term negative impact on the recovery and resilience of society, Dixon added. João Veiga Malta, practice manager of the World Bank Group, emphasized the need for procuring entities to have flexibility in how they procure goods, works, and services required for disaster response. They should be permitted to forego routine procurement procedures in favor of faster, more flexible procedures while ensuring that maintaining accountability and transparency remains a priority. The recently concluded 2-day workshop was designed to highlight global best practices in emergency procurement and help to identify those which could be considered for adoption in the Caribbean context. The session also addressed the issues affecting the procurement process during and after natural disasters in the region, including insufficient analysis of key needs in the event of a disaster and marketing ability to meet those needs, lack of appropriate considerations in procurement, legal and regulatory frameworks for disaster scenarios, the absence of rapid contracting mechanism to facilitate more timely recovery responses, and the value of money and insufficiently robust contract management. For WPG 10, I am Rachel Bain.
The $1 million headquarters of the Grenada Olympic Committee was officially opened at what was dubbed a soft launch on Friday. The building, officials say, is 95% complete, but they took the opportunity of the Pan American Organization sports meeting in St. George's to have the launch. The Pan American Sports Organization was one of the major contributors to the building. Its president, Niven Alvarez, also presented special trophies to local Olympic head Royston LaHaye and its General Secretary, Vida Bruno. LaHaye also praised the contribution of the government in helping to get the project off. Minister of Sports Norland Cox said afterwards he was impressed with what he saw in the facilities.
I say that this facility is an excellent facility. I think it was beautifully designed. The whole aestheticness, the whole layout, and also I think most importantly the different rooms and what the rooms are intended for as well is very good. There is a museum, there is athletes area for athletes to work out, conference room and other things. So I think it's a wonderful facility, and I do hope that it is used as what it was intended for and kept in the best manner.
Among those attending the function was Commonwealth Game decathlon gold medalist Lyndon Victor. A major shift at the top of the organization of the Grenada International Invitational Athletics event, that is in its past two successful editions, attracted such athletes as Karani James and Justin Gatlin. Hamid Mark reports tonight.
Dexter Mitchell has become one of the more recognizable faces of the first two editions of the Grenada Invitational Games, but overnight his fellow organizers announced that they are relieving him of the position as head of the local organizing committee. A statement overnight referred to his personal problems. Mitchell was arrested and charged in an apparent domestic violence affair and has been released on bail. He is due to appear in court shortly. The statement signed by Games founder Michael Bascom said, "While this is a personal matter and we believe in due process and clearly don't want to cast judgment at this point, the management committee has decided that it would be in the best interest of the Grenada Invitational and by extension Grenada, that Mr. Mitchell does not continue to serve as chair of the LOC at this time." The organizers have announced that Carleen Purcell will assume responsibility as acting chair for the time being.